Hey everyone, hope you're well. It's been Comic-Con weekend and it was an absolutely fantastic one. I had such a good time and I tell you, I was so like vibey and bouncy when I got in, and just the come down has been pretty heavy. We won't go into any of that, but we'll focus on the event itself. It was just brilliant. I had a great time. The Friday, I didn't get lost on the way down there. Everyone obviously assumed I'd end up at the wrong Westfield again, or I'd end up in Belgium or Stratford upon Avon or whatever it was that everyone was tweeting me about. But I actually just sang the entire way down there. My voice is ever so slightly hoarse today, and I think it's because I've been loudly singing. A lot. But I got down there and I parked in car park A, which is where Kev always tells me to park because it's right near the hotel. Went down, found a route. Normally, I come out and I go off and around the houses, and I realised I could just literally walk around the building, and it took like 30 seconds. And there was Pab waiting for me. He was surprised that I hadn't got lost. And then Kev appeared a few minutes later. He had got slightly lost, which is very ironic. He did a sheepdog because he went to car park B because the sign told him to. When he got there, he realised it was miles away from the hotel. But I felt very good that I'd managed to get there in one piece, and Kev had been the one to balls up for once, although not as catastrophically as ending up on the wrong side of London like I did before. So, yeah, that was really cool. It meant that we just went straight over to the event. The trains were fine. The tickets were fine. We got in there. I'm not normally there on the Friday, so being able to say, right, Ben wanted a Batman plane and a Batman car. Emily wanted a Demon Slayer pop vinyl and some mangas if I saw them. Ollie wanted either Teen Titan books or he wanted Adventure Time books. And it was just like, okay, I wanted a bag and a hat. I was really worried about burning my head. And as you can see, I'm not pink, but I did not find a hat. There was no hats there that suited me at all. It was very frustrating. But we wandered around. Kev immediately saw the Batmobile on the plane for me, which was very handy. So I had Ben squared off within like half an hour. Normally it's Sunday and I'm still clutching at straws trying to figure out what on earth to get them. So being done in half an hour for him was perfect. I kept looking for this character that Emily asked for. She'd given me the name and it was like just, a manga name. So I could barely pronounce it. And I spent the first like 2 hours looking for My Hero Academia logos to look for this name, and then read back her message and realized it was a Demon Slayer character. So I had to go back around the whole thing and try and find it. Found that very quickly, so that was cool. Couldn't find any. There's a real lack of proper comic stalls there. Traveling Man and stuff like that aren't there anymore, so you can't like root through a big pile of them unless it's a current brand new comic. There wasn't really any like proper graphic novels there. It was like there were single issues, but they weren't like, oh, I can go pick up one of these and go pick up one of them. So that was a bit of a shame, but I still had a really good time there. It's still good. Still looked at lots of cool things. So we basically then went to a Pokemon card shop, and Kev tried very heavily to get me to invest. Not interested. I can't get into it. It just doesn't have a spark for me. I don't know why I can't turn it on. If I could, I would. And I'm like, if I get into something, I get into it hard. So I just watched this. Kev bought them, and Pab was like, no, I'm not buying into them. No. And then like half an hour later, I think Kev had said to him, if you don't buy it now, this is the time to buy it. This is the place to buy it. That's the price to buy it at. You'll never see it cheaper. It's an investment. It's a great idea. Do it. Gave him the whole spiel he'd given me. And Pab just disappeared off and bought some. So then we went back to the hotel, and they spent the rest of the evening just sat there opening Pokemon cards. And it was it sounds like torture, but actually I was quite enjoying it. I really liked the vibe of just, I was sat there chilling out. I spent my Friday night wondering whether to have a beer and thinking, no, I'll have a Coke, and realizing like 90 minutes had gone by of me just going, Coke, beer, what shall I have? And Kev just offering me a drink every few minutes going, you sure you don't want a drink yet? And I'm like, I don't know what I want. But I just watched them open cards. It was just nice hanging out with them, listening to them talk, watching Kev open and pulling a few decent ones, and then Pab opening his cards and pulling hundreds of pounds worth of perfect cards, and Kev just trying to be like, yeah, that's really cool, I hate you so much and I really wish I could just steal them from you. And then Pab, bless him, sat there and got all of his doubles, put them in a big pile and gave them to me to give to Ollie, who was very happy with them. I did try and convince him that he should give his doubles from that pile to Ben, but he gave me this whole spiel about how Ben doesn't care, blah 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 blah. So that hasn't happened. It might happen in future. Saturday was the big fun day. So we went to bed. We went to bed pretty early. I was quite nervous about how heavy Saturday was going to be, how long, how big. There's lots of stuff going on. We went into London for our Fortnum and Mason run. We always basically go there to buy marmalade, and I had a meal on a Saturday night, and people have been saying I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna have this when I get there, and I'd said to them I never pick what I want up front because when I go to buy something, it's always sold out. And Fortnum and Mason was a classic example because last time I went there, I tried a coffee and I said to them, "This coffee's not very nice. I'm really sorry." I was like, "Do you have a coffee that tastes like the exact opposite of this? There's always like a scale, and this is very far on the scale one way. Do you have anything that's the complete polar opposite of the scale?" And they were very much like, "Yeah, we do." When I was telling Kev and Pab this, they were like, "You said what to them?" And I was like, "I just asked them if they had anything that tasted like the opposite of what they'd given me." And they were like, "Yeah, try our King's coffee." And I bought a little pot of it because I couldn't try it there, and it was beautiful. So I arranged to go buy more of that. That was my big plan. I was going to buy the biggest pot they had of this coffee. And when I got there, it was the one thing I had in my mind that I definitely wanted to buy that I knew was going to be there. When I got there, it was not there. So I've ended up with another little pot of it. I got some marmalade. I got some honey. I got some Assam tea. Claire likes the Assam tea, and they had superb Assam tea. And I was like, well, that sounds better than normal Assam tea. I'm slightly worried that they've just gone, well, this stuff's all out of date. What do we do? Let's flog it as discount Assam. And they've gone, no, call it superb. People will buy it if it's got that word on it. So if it tastes worse, I'll know I've been duped. But I got that stuff. We went off then to Gosh Comics, which usually when we go in there, I find it a little bit, not overwhelming, that's not the right word, but there's so much cool stuff in there that I'm like, well, I don't know what any of this stuff is. It's like all indie comics, all like obscure, and they have the artist coming in, and it'll be people that I haven't normally heard of. But actually, I mean, first things first, what I always do is I go downstairs to their anime section to see whether this comic. I watched this anime called Record of Ragnarok. So I always think, well, if someone's going to have it, Gosh is going to have it. And I went down there. I said in Power I was going to go downstairs, and straight off the bat, I saw this, and then I saw that, and I was like, boom, I'm buying both of them. I did the classic, I'm not sure if I'm going to buy it. But no, it's such a good. I'm going to briefly talk about it. It's such a good story. It's about these are the gods, like the Norse gods and whoever other types of gods that are in it, and it must be Norse because it's Ragnarok. They've decided they've had enough of humanity. They're sick of us. We're rubbish. They want to get rid of us. And one of the Valkyries convinces them to make a spectacle of it. Don't just wipe them out. Have a festival, have a battle, do a first to 7 wins. And the gods think that'll be hilarious because we're just going to destroy 7 humans and then we're going to destroy all of them. So they go, yeah, go on, let's see what you can do. So first off, they bring up this fella who's like the greatest warrior who ever lived. I can't remember his name. And he has to fight one of the gods. And they put out one of their surefire. I don't know if it's Thor or someone like that they put out. I can't fully remember, but watch it or read it. It's really good. And the battle goes through, and they're all like, whoa, because the Valkyrie has actually given all of the humans a weapon that is infused with one of her sisters. So her sister's souls are in the weapon to make them more powerful, but they're still a human. They've just got this powerful weapon. So it's all about, like, then the gods calling in their person. So in the second one, Zeus goes up against Adam, the original human, the first man, and they fight it out. And Zeus is obviously enormous and old and crazy and just really thinks he's got it all under control. And Adam's just there in his fig leaf with his little weapon that they've given him, and it kind of has like flashbacks to their life, why they're a chosen fighter, why they're powerful, why they're worthy of being in the battle. And yeah, it's just very, very cool. So I was so excited when I saw that in there that I grabbed both copies. And then I mentioned I never really know the artists. I never really know the people. But I saw this in there, Steeple, by John Allison. And if you've not heard of him, he does Giant Days, which is one of the best comics ever. I love it. It's so, so good. That was all in there. And Steeple is his other comic. I actually subscribed to his Patreon. He did a Batman Giant Days crossover, which I thought was really funny and really good. And I read some of Steeple on there. But yeah, Steeple's just an awesome story. It's about a church and a little village. This guy, he's English. He lives in like Letchworth, I think it is, in Hertfordshire. And so all of his stories are very English and very British. And like Giant Days is at Sheffield Uni, and this is just a little town that he's written about. And he's just got a wicked sense of humour. I love his content. So I saw his book in there, and I was like, yes, let's go. They also had a lot of Sandman stuff, but I didn't have time. I had Kev out front being accosted by people, so I ended up paying. And I mean, they're already chatting to him, but I was just like, oh, what's going on? I better pay and go. So I went out there and got that. But then we just gathered about. We went to Forbidden Planet. In there, I hate that they don't have Signal in there. I think they discourage having Signal so that you can't Google how much stuff is on Amazon. Because the first time I went there, that's what I was trying to do. But what I want to do now when I go there is I message Emily on the way going, what do you want? I'm going to buy specifically what you ask for. So she'd sort of message me going, I want number 3 of this, or number 7 of this, or number 2 of this. And when I got in there, all the mangas she wanted were 3 for 2, but they had like the one after what she'd asked for, or the one before, but not the one she wanted. It was an absolute nightmare. So I had to keep going upstairs and ringing her, and in the end, I just got her a bundle of them. I had the same problem with Ollie because he always asked for. They didn't have any Teen Titans Go books, but they had Adventure Time. And so I always have to take a punt of whether I recognise the cover on them. So I got him 3 of them. And when I got out of the shop and texted him for like the 3rd time, he was like, yeah, I don't have 2 of them, but I have this one. So we've got like this little pile of Adventure Time comics now where they're just duplicates. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with them. At some point, I need to just find one of his friends who I can gift them to, and they can all like read them or get into them or whatever. But yeah, so that was everyone squared. I actually bought stuff at an event without any stress. I still didn't have a bag. We looked through every aisle, every part of these shops, no bags. What I really wanted, I'd seen it was, so in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, there's this foundation called the Speedwagon Foundation, who are like this rich group who research all the different powers and users and all of this in JoJo. And they have a cool logo, and I'd seen it on a bag, and I didn't know what it was when I saw it. And I thought, oh, I'll look that up. And I looked it up, and that's one of the reasons I ended up starting to watch JoJo, because it had like set me off on the route. So I was going to buy that bag, and when I got there, it was nowhere. Couldn't find it. They had a new version of my old Flash bag that I got of Star Labs, but that wasn't. I sort of thought the Flash sucks now, so I was like, I don't really want to buy another Star Labs bag, which is the reason I wanted a new one. I tried every hat I tried to buy. Kev kept picking up hats that he was like, this is a nice hat, and it'd have like no back to it. I picked up a Sonic hat that I thought looked really cool, and it had just a netting there, so my whole head would have burned. I was just like, for goodness sake, there's not a single hat suitable for me in the whole of London, or Comic-Con, or Forbidden Planet, or, I mean, we went in Harrods, of all places as well, and that was one of the places where they're all just capped with no backs to it. I was like, what on earth? I didn't get anything in Harrods. Harrods was a very weird shop. Very Egyptian-y inside. I was like, God, I didn't expect this to be... I sort of said I didn't expect it to be this bizarre, and Kev was like, of course it's going to be over the top. It's Harrods, but it was just like super expensive and loads of odd stuff. We did find that they have lots of obscure toys in there at normal prices. So like they had Horizon Zero Dawn Lego, and Kev saw some Pokemon cards in there that hadn't been out for a while, and some wrestling merch that he wouldn't have expected to be in stores. So that was cool. I wouldn't mind going there again in future just to have a look at what they've got, but it was a bit of a trek, and I can't imagine Anna wanting to walk that when we do our walks in future. But it was fun. It was cool. But then we went back, and what was looming over my whole day was the excitement, because I was meeting up with the people in the autistic. I don't know if it's autism or Autistic Creators Hub. Yeah, ACH. As I keep reading it. We'd planned to meet up. We were going for an Italian. We were going to Ask Italian in Westfield, which I had to mention actually. Thursday night, I was chatting to my friend Matt, and I said to him, I'm gonna be in London. I'm probably just gonna go straight to the O2 from like Fortnum and Mason. So I had my bags and stuff with me, and he was like, "Why are you going to the O2?" And I said, "For the meal." And he was like, "The meal's not at the O2. I'll look up where it is." And he went and got me the address, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I said, like, "That's next to my hotel. Like literally." It was in Westfield. It was a 2-minute walk from my hotel. I had genuinely planned to like go back, sort of clean myself a bit, whatever, get ready, and then get the train across to the O2. And that was in my head. I was just going to trek off, and that was that. If we hadn't have off the cuff had that conversation on Thursday, I would have made a complete arse of myself, because I wasn't going to look up the address. I knew where the O2 was. I was just going to wander in the door and go, "Oh, where's the Italian then?" And you look around. So yeah, I felt very lucky that he'd said that. Oh my god, it would have been embarrassing, because it would have taken. I'd have got there so late, and it would have been so awful, and it would have derailed everything. And I've been very upset, and so I was very pleased when I didn't do that. But I was a bit giddy. I was a bit excited. We got back, and Kev and Pab were like, "We're going to go out for dinner." So I walked down with them, and then realised my friends weren't getting the train in for a little while. So I went back to our hotel and just sort of sat around in there. And then I was like, right, they're nearly here. I'll go stand downstairs. There was a delivery man for Deliveroo, kept like waving at me, and I kept going and then looking away, and he'd wave at me again, and I'd be doing that. And I felt like it was really obvious. I was shaking my head at him, and then I'd look away again, and I kept just not making eye contact with him. And eventually come over, and he was like, "Is this your meal?" And I was like, "Look, I know I'm like the biggest guy here, but like not every big guy here is here for food." You know what I mean? Like, I said, "No, I've said no twice." And he was like, "Oh, sorry. I just thought it might be." And I was like, "Yeah, I bet you did." So while that was going on, I messaged going like, "Where are you?" to one of the guys. No, I'm already at the restaurant. And apparently they'd like just walked straight past me. I was like, "What?" So Kev and Pab came back from their dinner then, and they were like, "What are you doing here still?" And I was like, "I've not been here the whole time. I did go upstairs and come back." I said, "The guy I was supposed to be meeting has walked past me," because he said, "I'm not." His excuse was, "Well, I'm not going to go up to a stranger and say, 'Are you Sheepdog?' Am I?" So I just went in, and I was like, "But I told you I was here." And Kev and Pab were like, "You know, you're meeting with like 10 sheepdogs, yeah? You're meeting with 10 people like you, so of course they were going to do that. Of like, this is what it's like hanging around with you." And I was like, "Okay, no, that makes me feel, yeah, fair enough." Like, I wasn't annoyed anyway, but I was like, "No, cool, you're right. Like, I've got to expect me-isms." So I waited for another minute because someone else was on their way, but they were running late, so I went off and we stood outside. I immediately recognised some of the people when I got there. I'd either chatted to them on voice chat, because I'd heard them as I was getting close, or I'd sort of seen them in either videos or pictures or whatever. And we stood at the door and chatted for a bit, and everyone arrived one by one. And yeah, it was just awesome. We went in and we sat down, and there's always that moment, isn't there, of will the chat just be natural? Will it be? And it was absolutely brilliant. It flowed, and once everyone was there, we were all just chatting, catching up, conversing. I felt really guilty because we met with Schnumn. It's her group, so she'd arranged the meal. She was like, "Why didn't you come say hello at the event yesterday?" And I was like, "Well, every time we walked past, they had such a big queue that we just carried on walking, thinking we'll come back in a bit." And eventually we just left. It was like, "Yeah, we're done." And she was just like, "You should have said hi." But we just caught up. It was very, very nice, just chatting away. We ate lots of food, lots of drawing. People were doodling each other. Someone drew me on a napkin, which is very funny. It's here somewhere. It's in my pile. But no, she just randomly was like, "I drew a picture of you." It was like a little egghead. Really made me laugh. And yeah, we just chatted and chatted and chatted. It was really, really good. There was a point where we said to the waiter, "What time did you shut?" And he was like, "Actually, we shut like over half an hour ago. We've just been cleaning up around you. We figured we'd just tell you to leave when we needed you to." And we were like, "Yikes." So we just kind of had to usher everyone to pack up and go then. Like, we paid, we settled, we apologised. Like, I was like, "Thanks for letting us stay late, sorry about this." And he's like, "No, it's fine, don't worry about it. You were all just, vibing, it was good." I can't remember the exact words he used, but it's basically what he said. And it's weird, because when you're in a very bright room, you forget that it's dark outside. I had the opposite thing happen in the cinema. For me personally, I don't know if everyone gets this, but when I'm in a cinema and it's dark, I expect it to be nighttime outside, and then it's bright and I'm a bit confused. We had the opposite thing here, where it was really, really bright, and then we went out the door and it was nighttime, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, yeah, whoops, it's like 10. I think it's like 10:30 even. I don't know. It was quite late. We came outside going, "Well, what should we do? Should we sit out here? Should we go sit at the station and chat? Should we find somewhere like a bar or something?" And then all the Liverpool fans were kicked out and were like fighting with the police and shouting, and there was a lot of swearing, and we were like, "Oh God, this isn't the right environment." So we went in every place to see if we could sit in there, and they're all closing. And it was like, "Yeah, we've got 10 minutes, it's shutting at 11. And we were just like, "What do we do?" And I'd noticed the Asper's Casino sign, and I was like, there's a bar up there we could sit in. They'll be open 24 hours. But a few of the people in the group weren't comfortable going in the casino. They didn't think it'd be a good environment for them. So we sat around at the station for a bit chatting, which was just, again, really nice. But people were starting to drift off, and one by one be like, "Oh, I've got to go now, my train's late," this, that, and the other. And I was kind of like, well, my hotel is there, like I can see it, I can walk around the corner to it. So I was just like, I'm here till it's done, basically. So there was, I think, 4 of us left, and we were like, "Shall we go in the casino?" So we were like, "Yeah, why not?" And I was thinking, I felt like a really bad influence then, because I was like, I don't know whether we're going to just end up going in there and being really uncomfortable, if it's super noisy, if it's super like, if it's full of Liverpool fans or something. But we went in, we went in the door, we handed our IDs, we did all of you have to stand there looking at a camera while they scan you. And we went in, and one of the people in our group decided to look around and see what was what, and they wanted to look downstairs and see whether there was any kind of I think we'd all gone to the loo, and when we come out they were wandering, and we were trying to tell them where we were. They were trying to find us, and we were shouting to them like, wait, we're here. And just as we caught up with them, they stepped on an escalator, and she just went down it, so we all joined, and then you could hear her go, is this the exit? And the woman was like, yeah, this is the way out. And we were like, we've only just got here. And she was like, I'm going to have to tell the bar not to serve you anymore. And we were like, we haven't drunk anything. We've only just arrived. And she was like, oh, God, like, what? I'll keep an eye on you then. You know, she's very much like, oh, do I want you four in here? So they let us cut through the queue and go back up. And so we don't, again, I was like, this is a super me thing to have done, but there was four of us doing it. It was just like, it was exactly like Kev and Pab had said. Again, the whole meal was like that. It was just, again, I felt great because it was very much a me vibe. Absolutely loved it. So we went upstairs. We had a drink, and we just chilled out and chatted for a bit. Then one of the others, she had to go home because it was just getting late for her, so she had to go. So the other three of us were just standing there. It was me, Bex, and Lucy, just like, let's gamble then. Let's get some money out. Let's 20 quid in. We'll go play some roulette. So we sat at the roulette table, and the guy was like, "This is the £2.50 a go one. You probably want the £1 a go one over there." And we were like, we don't really want to sit at a big table with loads of gamblers. We just want an empty table. So while your advice is good, we're still probably going to put a bet on here. So we all put our one bet on, and immediately, like, I think we did one. I think I tried to bet around the outside, and it turned out to be £50 a bet on the outside, or £2.50 a number. So I just put £2.50 on one number, and then it didn't come in. And I was like, ugh. I was telling them the story of how Kev had always said bet on zero on the way in, and that we once did, and we won a load of money putting a fiver on it. And so I told them that, and they were like, oh, that's the advice then, let's bet on that. We didn't bet on zero, but it came up. We watched zero come up like twice across our time we were there, and we were like, okay, we really should have bet on zero. That was a sign. But no, we didn't win. So then we were like, let's not play this anymore. So then Lucy was showing us how to... I've played blackjack before, but I've only ever played it very, very drunk. I was at a work Christmas do, and I kept just putting bets on for someone while they were at the toilet. And then I took some of the profits off of that and gave them the money back. And then I just sat there playing it. But my pot went up and down and up and down, and then went to nothing because I was just tipsy. But in this environment, we watched Lucy do that, just go up and down and up and down. And she was doing really well. So then I was like, right, I'm going to jump in and have a go. I'm confident. I know what I'm doing. Watched mine go like 15, 10, 5, 10, 5, 0. So then Schnumn was like, I'm going to have a go now. She sat down and was just like 15, 10, 5. We were like, oh, I mean, it might not have been that bad. But we were just like, damn it. We just ended up standing back up, watching Lucy carry on betting. And they were really good. She was really good at it. Much better than we were. I didn't realise you're not allowed to take photos in there. We went to take a selfie, and they were like, no, you can't take photos in here. They sort of subtly said to us, if you go and find a corner, you can take a picture, but, you know, you got to be really discreet in case someone's mum sees them in a casino or whatever. So while they were playing, I was just like pretending to text, just go, taking pictures. I took like two, I think one or two. But yeah, it was like very much like, I'm trying to be stealthy. But no, we I think it must have been about two. We decided to part ways then. It was like, we'd just been out, we'd been drinking, it'd been really good. It was getting late. We had to be up for the panel the next day. So we were a bit nervous about like, we better go now. So, parted ways there. And when I got back, I was trying to be all sneaky in. Like, I got a pass beforehand, and I made sure it all worked. I had to go get it reset. When I got there, I sort of snuck in the room, and Pab was like, do you think I'd be asleep? I was like, yeah, it's 2 a.m. And he was like, nah, I thought I'd just lay here. And so we just chatted for a bit. I was really buzzy, so I think I was just chatting his head off for the next like half an hour. And weirdly, my back that had been agonizing me non-stop stopped hurting. When I was at the meal, I stood up to leave thinking it would hurt, and it didn't hurt. And I was like, I don't know whether it was just relaxing a bit. Kev was like, maybe it was the garlic. I don't know. Was there anything in the food? Something made my back just stop hurting, and it stopped hurting. And so that was great. So yeah, that was awesome. And then the next morning we got up, we did the panel. That was nerve-wracking because I was so nervous about something going wrong. I couldn't eat properly in the morning. I was just kind of I had a small breakfast. Was just like, I really don't want to end up having a drink in either the toilet or something. I was just being really like overthinking everything. Thinking what if we're hungover. Well, I was fine. I only had like 2 drinks. I did drink in the end. I had a couple of beers, I can't remember. I had cider, I think. I had a beer and then 2 ciders. I think that's what I drank. So I had 3 drinks that night, which I think was all right. I've done all right. I think I won't drink again now to the next event. That was good. The panel was amazing. Absolutely loved that. I feel like I was way more relaxed than the last one, and because I knew Kev and Bex a lot better, I've been chatting to them a lot more. Obviously, I chat to Kev anyway, but I've chatted to Bex a lot more, so we get on really well. And I'd obviously met her the day before and gone for the meal and that, so that was great. I'd also been chatting to Rach more on Twitter, so I knew her a lot better, and we were able to chat. We met up beforehand, had a little wander around, went to see if Bex was in, but she wasn't in yet, so we went for a wander around, had a look at stuff, and just caught up. And then met Connor for the first time. Didn't chat to him a whole lot, but it was good to meet him, and he had some really cool things to say on the panel. So I just felt like I'm looking forward to getting that video from wherever we can and putting that out, because I feel like it was a much more. We all knew what we were answering. We all had something to say. After it, people come up and ask cool questions. Met a lot of you that I've met before or been chatting to online. That was lovely chatting to you all, catching up. And then I was just kind of free to wander around. Weirdly, my back stopped hurting and my foot started hurting. I ruined my left foot. So I was hobbling around. I saw a couple of stalls that definitely weren't there on the Friday. So I went and tried to find a hat again and tried to find a bag again and didn't get anywhere with that. I kept finding and then losing Kev and Pab. Kev's daughters were there. I felt really guilty because we went off for a wander, then we went back because I just thought we were going back to say hello to Bex again and just be like, that was cool. Hope you enjoyed yourself on that. So I quickly grabbed a copy of her book, Lavender Clouds, which I knew she said to her mum on the phone while we were leaving that she'd sold out everything. She only had 3 of these left. I haven't opened it yet, but I've read a lot of it online anyway. It's on her website at Schnumn.com. It is Schnumn.com, where she'd mentioned she only had 3 left, so I was like, right, I'm going to buy one before it sells out because I've been wanting to buy it for a while, keep forgetting. So I just bought the one that was there, thinking that's the last one, I'll buy it. And then Kev got his wallet out to buy one for his daughter, and they were like, oh no, they're all gone. And I just felt so mean. I was like, oh, whoops. So yeah, Kev and Anna, if you're watching, go on Schnum.com and buy it there. So then I just left then. I was like, right, I feel a bit mean for buying the thing Amy had come to buy. So I just, went for a wander. What did I get? I think I found some sweets for Ollie that I got. They were Krabby Patties. He always calls the what they called the crackers you get at Chinese restaurants. He calls them Krabby Patties. Prawn crackers. Just because I don't know, they're fishy or whatever. So he's got an obsession with eating them. He thinks they're brilliant, blah, blah, blah. So I saw these Krabby Patty SpongeBob sweets and bought them for him. And he ate the whole box in 10 minutes when I got home yesterday. Or when he got home yesterday, sorry. But yeah, just wandered around for a bit. A couple of the guys from the group were in and they were saying, oh, I'm going to be at Bex's stall later, or I'm going to come by and say hello. So after a bit, when I was in so much pain, and I'd said to Bex, can I come and just hang out for a bit if I want to sit down or whatever? And she's like, yeah, of course you can. So I went and just sat at her stall, and that was nice. We just sat chatting for a bit. I watched all the people come over. And I watched the panel. It was amazing. You guys were really cool. Lots of good feedback from that. Saw all the awesome people interacting with her about her art, and that was really cool because I've always dreamt of creating stuff and sitting behind a stall at an event and selling my stuff. So watching her do it was really interesting to me because people would be like, this was awesome. One girl had said they'd used her art in their A-level stuff. They'd written about her and showed her art on it. And that was amazing to witness, to someone just being like, your art is really inspirational to me. I based my art around you. I thought that's the target. To achieve stuff like that is so cool. So it's just awesome to see someone living that and selling that. And it's like when we walk around with Kev and people are like, I've watched your vlogs, you've changed things for me, you've done, it's just nice witnessing really great people be given really great feedback, and you just think, I need to put more effort in. I need to try hard, I need to get talented and achieve that. But it was just awesome seeing my friends have that happen throughout the weekend. It's absolutely lovely, and yeah, I'm proud of them. They do really well. But they're just really, I mean, not it's not my place to be proud of people, but you know what I mean. It's really good for them, and really cool. So it was nice. So we hung out. It was just really nice. The people that we were going to meet come over. We hung out. Just chewed the fat. I ended up, because Kev and Pab went about 3-ish, 4-ish, I think they were going. They were heading off to eat food. I think in my head, I'd planned to sit for a minute, stop my foot from hurting, chill out, and then once I was ready, go. But what ended up happening was we were chatting for ages. It got to 5. The event was finishing. I helped them pack up, and then we ended up just getting the train across to. We were all going to Stratford International, so we thought we would just get on the train and go. But the whole event packed out at once, and we ended up with this massive horde of people. There was a couple of awkward moments where we went to get on a train. These guards were yelling, and Bex and I had no idea what was going on. Lucy was just like. And then it's quite funny actually. I've just realised that they've got the same names as Kev's daughters. It wasn't Kev's daughters. It was two of our friends, Lucy and Amy. They were getting like caught up, and Amy, bless her, jumped on the train, and the train shut, and it just like took her away into the distance. And we were like, no. So then we got on the next train, and it just didn't stop anywhere. I don't think it stopped anywhere similar. We just didn't see her. We were just like, right, okay. So Lucy's train was like going imminently, so we had to like rush across and all of this. But it was like one of those awkward things where he said goodbye and then rushed in the same direction as well, which was quite funny. So I waved them off, got in the car, and just drove home. And it was, I thought, going to be really glorious. Another hour and a half journey. I would just sing the whole way. On the way out of London, I was in like, if I could be in the wrong lane, I was in the wrong lane every time. Every time I thought it was a left turn, it was a right turn. I got to the point where it's supposed to, Kev always says to me, once you get out of London, it's one road. I got out of London and that one road was closed. So I ended up being pushed through all these villages and Bedfordshire and all this stuff. And I was like, where the hell am I? But I just went with it. I eventually got home at like gone 8. And I just crashed then. I was like, I was like buzzing still, but I was just like, I need to sleep. I've been watching Neon Genesis, I can't even say Evangelion, on Netflix. I just binged a load of that. And that's kind of been keeping me going. But no, I was in such a good mood. And I also forgot to mention on the way out, actually, I stopped and bought this, my new baby for my collection in the background. I like Poi Paul. It's funny because I'd mentioned to my friends, I was like, I haven't got the excuse anymore. Ollie's too old to buy them, and Ben's not really into it as much. And they were like, you could just buy them for yourself. And I was like, I will. So I went and I picked this one because it's an awesome Gen 7 Pokemon. Ash Ketchum had it, which always makes me feel better when they're good enough for Ash, they're good enough for me. It's going to sit with my other Pokemon in the background there. But yeah, it's a good one. And that was, again, I felt really like, I bought stuff. I don't normally buy stuff. I normally have a bit of a block. I normally convince myself I shouldn't or whatever, but I did. And I was very happy I did. So yeah, that was a great weekend. I won't go any further than that. If you follow me on Twitter, you know what happened yesterday. And I don't want to bring everything down by talking about it. I'll cover it on a future one. It was a heavy day. Just go check my Twitter at RB6K if you want to know. If you're still watching. Most of the time people aren't still watching by this point. But no, I had a wonderful weekend. It was absolutely great seeing Kev and Pab and hanging around with them and going on adventures. I was very disappointed Anna wasn't there. If you're watching, Anna, I hope you're all right. I can't wait to see you at another event. You were very dearly missed. And everyone else at the ACH meeting was absolutely fantastic. Loved meeting everybody. Loved hanging out with Bex, Lucy, and Amy, who there was more of us after that. But everybody else as well, obviously Matt, the Matts, as I was calling them, David, Shroomy. Have I met? I think that's everyone. I'm desperately hope. I wish I hadn't listed names now. I might have not counted myself in there. But yeah, it was fantastic. Really cool people, really had a great time, and I was so excited that we ended up in a casino. It was like a proper adventure. We found that the casino was also actually quite autism friendly. It had a quiet room, it had lots of space, lots of cool bits. It was very accommodating, and we were laughing afterwards because we've just randomly stumbled across the fact that Asper's Casino are very autism comfortable, and I'm worried that I've sent Bex down a thing now where she'll be doing events and then she'll be going to the casino afterwards. It was like, whoops, this is going to create a new tradition now. You're going to end up becoming a high rolling blackjack player or something. But no, I had such a good time, and I just feel like I got to know some friends a lot better from the ACH. Consolidate some friendships there, which was lovely. And just seeing Kev and Pab and Anna when she's there is always a fantastic experience. So I had a great time. Feel very, very good about it. And hanging around with 10 me's is the best thing ever. You lot are blessed. You lot are so lucky. I'm only joking, obviously. I'm not that big-headed, but I felt very lucky hanging around with people that were like me. It was wonderful, and I just felt really, really good for it. So yeah, thanks to them if you're watching, and I'll catch you all soon. That is your lot. This is a long one. I've just done my application for the next Comic-Con, and they were like, please put your content here. And I was like, I haven't recorded it yet. So I'm hoping they accept that as an answer. If I don't get to go to the next one, that's why. But Kev has said he's applied for more panels, so hopefully I'll get in via the back door if I don't get in via the front door. But that's your lot. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you're all well, and I'll catch you all soon. Cheers.